Yemi Alade, Yemi, the girl. I'm telling you, she's popping things in Nigeria. We're back in Nigeria. Thank you so much for keeping it KUTV. Remembering our SMS number is 0739 110544. I'm going to be repeating that because I'm seeing a lot of amazing feedback from you guys. It's 0739 110 and 544. And as promised, I'm a girl who delivers her promises. Missy, let me not choma, it's okay. I deliver my promises, and right about now I have Mumbi on set. Mumbi, karibu sana. You're looking amazing.
Thank
Beautiful
you.
hair. Today is just about the hair vibe, you know. Hair, nywele zenyu zimeweza kabisa. Thank you for joining us on set. Thank you so much for coming. And you're doing a great job. Let me tell you something about Mumbi. I'm the one learn a blow trumpet za watu. I hope, Nispin, see next time ufanye research yangu, please.
Haina mambo.
Ufanye venye nafanyia watu leo. So, technology wants to let me down. Nothing like that. Nothing can stop reggae. Okay. Yeah, so Mumbi is a talented spoken word artist. I'll tell you something about Mumbi. In 2018, Mumbi won a Poetry After Lunch. You got a recognition with Poetry After Lunch, right?
Yes. Poetry After Lunch is a show that happened at Kenya National Theatre every Thursday afternoon. It's actually the first place where I started performing poetry back in 2016. So in 2018, they gave me a recognition award for just doing my poetry.
Just doing your poetry.
Yes.
And then in 2020, this year.
Yes.
Even with COVID,
yes,
people are still winning. You know, there are going to be wins even with COVID. Don't stop at it. Just keep going. You're going to be getting your wins. So in 2020, like this year I was saying, Mumbi got Sondeka Awards for Best Spoken Word Artist.
Yes,
wow.
Yes. I was nominated last year for a Sondeka Award as well. And this year I won the Sondeka Award. The award ceremony couldn't happen, but it was online. So I won the Best Poet of the Year virtually. So thank you to Sondeka Awards.
You know, like when most people hear about a spoken word artist, they see people who have done language, linguistics, and all those. But tell you what, Mumbi has done law, right?
Yes.
Do you practice law? Ama uliacha? Kando, let's do my talent kwanza.
I actually graduated from law school this year.
Wow. Moving to KSL, will you?
Yes, I will. I will, because I want to get into intellectual property law and entertainment law.
Entertainment law.
Yes.
And speaking of spoken word, when did you start doing your spoken word? As a child, or is it something that grew as you progressed by?
Spoken word was something that I happened upon. It wasn't something that I was looking to do. I just happened upon it. When I was in high school, there was a competition that used to happen, an inter-school poetry competition. And there was a category for original compositions. And so one time the person from my school who was to compete dropped out. And so my English teacher signed me up, and she was like, I'm sure you can write something. Like, I was just to fill in the gap just so that our school has someone to present at the competition. So I remember that night after my teacher signed me up, I wrote my first poem. It's called A Stained Wedding Dress. It was about a boy in high school and whatever. So I took that poem to the competition. Funny story, I was actually disqualified from the competition because the judges, when they looked at the poem, they were like, this isn't poetry. Because, you know, when you think of poetry, you think
rhyming words and all that.
Yeah, in a certain structure. Like a poem should look a certain way. And they said, we don't understand what this is. And at the time, I didn't know that what I was writing was spoken word poetry. Yes, exactly. And so it's only after now I started going to shows and open mics and finding platforms where people were doing what I was doing that I got to understand, I wasn't crazy.
Yeah, you were right eventually. Ultimately, you were right.
Yes.
So maybe someone is seated at home, you are seated at home, you're watching it, you're watching Mumbi, you want to know some pieces from her, and I'll tell you my favorite one. It's called, from today's show, I think I'm a hopeless romantic. Because from Eugene, I said I like wedding manenos. And from Mumbi, from your words and from your work, I love to my future husband or partner or to whoever.
To my future husband, life partner or whatever.
Can you please give us maybe even a line or two? That's a nice one. I know the first one is about food.
I actually rewrote that poem.
You did?
Yes, I rewrote my poems a lot. So currently the opening line to that poem is to my future husband, life partner, whatever. If you haven't met me yet, good. I'd like you to stay like that for a while I figure some things out. But if you have met me, there's some things I need to clear before you get the wrong idea.
Oh, God.
And it goes on and on.
Wow, so if you want to check out her work, yeah? If you want, I know, like, that got me. I have to go and revisit because me, Nigeria, to my future husband, I hope you know how to cook. If you don't know how to cook, be ready to eat rice and omelets every day. Am I right?
Because that's all I got, yes.
Yeah, you see, like, that's how much I love your work. You're doing tremendous work. Well, Nitspin, nashikilia mic usiniangushe bana. Don't drop a line. Nitspin, not now. Iko sawa. So Mumbi, let's move on to like just understanding how you do your spoken word. Is this something you do for yourself? Do you have a group of people you work with? Or is this something you just sit at home and write it down?
It's just something I've always done by myself. I just started by writing. I just enjoyed writing.
Yeah.
And then I fell in love with performing. When I first started performing, I went to PAL at Kenya National Theatre and Kwani Open Mic. And I fell in love with, I love performing poetry, especially because when you start performing poetry to an audience, a lot of people don't understand, like, what are you, so you're talking, like, people don't really get how do you perform poetry, but then I just love seeing the reaction on an audience's face when I just get deeper into the poem and they're like, oh, I actually relate, or that's, dope,
Yeah, nice. Amazing work, Mumbi. And let's talk about concert Nyumbani. It's going to be happening on Sunday, 2 p.m. on 12 media stations. And keep it KUTV. Thank you so much. So how did you even get to being on that platform of preparing and being part of the production in concert Nyumbani? How did they reach out to you, or did you reach out to them? Did you present your work? How was it? How was the whole experience? And how has it been so far? Because the work is ready, just waiting for us to view it.
Yes. Well, I got the call just on a regular afternoon. And from there, my day and subsequent weeks weren't the same after that. So I got the call from someone from Eugene's team. And they told me about this concept they have called Concert Nyumbani. And it's just featuring documentaries of local heroes, punctuated by performances by artists. And they were asking if I would want to be part of the roster of artists. And I was just very excited to listen to the concept, because that would have just been something I would have loved to watch. Like, just watching it would be enough for me. Now to be part of it
is everything.
Was everything to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that is really amazing. And when you're talking about that, I'm like, nimekumbuka Kiswahili proverb. Let me see if I can do it. Haya, chema chajiuza, kibaya chajitembeza.
Yes.
True? Nice one. From her story, that is what I'm getting. Because, like you see, when you're producing things, you never know who's looking.
True.
You don't even know if someone likes whatever you are doing. But provided you don't stop production, you just produce Nispin. And the lap is a mix. You never know if DJ Khalid is watching. Nispin, I'm telling you.
You come from far, yeah?
Yeah, you come from far. You never know who's watching. Just know you keep on doing your thing. So maybe, like a lot of youngsters out here, they have talent. From your story, I can get like there was a time you're confused, especially in high school, because you got rejected for something you thought was amazing, rather.
Yes.
And then someone told you, no, that's not just it. It took you a couple of years to see, oh God, I wasn't doing just the normal poetry, the structured poetry. I was doing spoken word. And I'm so sure there's a lot of people, there's someone watching us from home, really talented individuals. They start their things and stop. I asked Eugene the same thing, because it's something that I've seen with a lot of youngsters. What keeps you going? Because you have to think every time. For you to be a spoken word artist, you have to be relevant. You have to relate with people. You have to choose a crowd. What keeps you going, and how do you get ready and embrace the whole experience?
I think for me, and what I think I would tell people, it's all about intention.
Yeah.
For me, I think intention is everything, because I got into spoken word poetry because I loved it. I loved writing and sharing stories and performing. That was just, it just made me feel content, you know. I never did it because, I never got into poetry just because I wanted people to see my face or people to know my name. And so for me, I think it's just about intention. Do something just because you want to do it and because you enjoy doing it and because it's your passion. And just like you said, Kizuri, chajiuza.
Yeah. Okay, you know, like, you know, spoken word is talking, you communicate with people, you get that vibe, you dig in, you relate with them, you know. And it's, I feel like it takes a lot of talent to pull that off, because you can just sit with a crowd, unaongea, and they're just looking at you like, huh? Haya imenipita. Maybe for them to go home and laugh in a load in a hit later on. So for you, like, what is your goal in doing maybe spoken word? Like, do you feel like the things you want to change in the society are there people you express yourself to? Because I know some artists usually talk to youngsters, to people who are maybe depressed and all that. Like, what is your target audience and who are you focusing to improve on?
Okay, so for that, I think it goes to like, what do I write about?
Yes, true, yeah.
I write about a little bit of everything. I write about like female empowerment. I write about Africa. I write about love, heartbreak. And so whoever I want to listen to me is just anyone who is willing to just listen to a message, whatever message that may be. It's just anyone who is just willing to listen. Yeah.
If okay, sorry, are you done?
Yes.
Okay, if this was supposed to be done, maybe pre-recorded, someone would feel like, oh God, they gave that girl some time to line up her words. Because the way you're talking, you're structuring your words well, they make sense. Like you're doing a spoken words indirectly. Like someone would listen to you and listen to content, you get? Because someone can just as well as be yapping and all that and not making a lot of sense. So maybe, I know, this one I know because I also want. Can you please perform for us something?
Okay, sure.
Yes.
Okay, so this poem, it doesn't have a title. A lot of my poems don't have titles.
It's okay.
But it's an ode to East Africa.
Let me drop this because I'm your audience and get ready to be snapping my fingers.
Good.
Yeah. Nitspin, support me. We can't do this. You feel? Yeah.
She came from Nairobi, the green city under the sun where the metaphorical milk and honey flow. She traveled to Uganda. The royalty she exudes surpasses that of the Kabaka. Surely Wakanda has nothing on the Baganda. By way of Jinja to Kampala to find a lover, there is no other. Kigali ni mbali lakini alifika. Wiriwe. Kinyarwanda now rolls off her tongue like she was born there. She learned peace there. She's at peace there. Her mind wanders in Tanzania, so Mwanza alianzia to Arusha and Dar es Salaam, speaking Swahili and the language of love up the coastline through Tanga Segela. In Mombasa, we finally meet. We hold hands and merry-go-round, glorious around the Victoria. My lover, Malaba is calling us. I trace maps on his back. His lineage dates back to the Congo before the dawn of Bongo. Oh no, don't leave me. I love you, believe me. I wonder, God must have fashioned me after Rwanda, looking at my mountains and valleys. Baby, I must have been the cause of the rifts in the valley.
Oh.
We speak with conviction, giving orders. Swahili transcends borders. Translate this poem to the language of love and tell me, does Lake Victoria ever want to be known by her African name? Does Lake Victoria ever want to pause and say she doesn't want to drain into the Nile because that will mean leaving everything she has ever known? Or more importantly, does Mount Kilimanjaro ever want to cross the border and come back home?
Wow. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Bonnie, please show me doing this. Thank you. Yes, and that is amazing. I don't want
Thank
to
you.
say so much words because I'm going to dilute that with my unplanned words, right? So maybe do you have anything, parting shot to our audience, and also maybe where they can get you and support your art?
You can find me on my social media at Mumbi Poetry. And the last parting shot that I have is this Sunday at 2 p.m.
Yes.
Tune in for concert Nyumbani. It's going to be an amazing hour-long show, and you just cannot afford to miss it. Yes.
Thank you. Nitspin, final word to Mumbi. Namwambia aje.
Wanafanya kazi poa. Keep it up. Yeah.
Kazi
We support you. Mweke beats pia tucheze.
Okay,
Also.
beats, right? Nice one, nice one. Nice. Katikati ya mix uneka spoken word from Kilimanjaro to Rwanda. So thank you so much, Mumbi. All the best Sunday and also past Sunday, past COVID, the whole experience. And we hope to have you back. Thank you so much. Nitspin, as always, take us off. Usiangushe your tone.